Archetypal fear. Is that a thing? Sounds lofty. And why would I want to know? Well, let's demythologize it a bit. Archetypal doesn't mean made up or symbolic instead of real. It means patterned, ancient, and shared across humans. Something that shows up again and again in stories, myths, dreams, religions, and our nervous systems. So basically, fear didn't come from my childhood so much as the entire history of people not surviving. So think of it a bit like a sweater knit by every ancestor who ever said, "Hey, don't do that. You could die, be exiled, or be eaten, or be shunned, or even canceled." Or maybe think of it archetypal fear as your psyche's union rep from 4,000 years ago, still shouting, "We don't speak up in front of the chief. We don't leave the group, and we don't change the rules without consequences." So, how can fear be archetypal? Well, maybe think of it on two levels at once. Personal fear, your biography. This is the stuff we usually mean by fear. I'm afraid I'll mess this up. I'm afraid of being rejected. I'm afraid I am not enough. Or, you know, this fear shaped by your history, wounds, relationships, trauma, and even your temperament. Archetypal fear, the human pattern underneath. Beneath the personal story is a universal human drama that shows up everywhere. Fear of alienation, death, chaos, the abyss, fear of abandonment, exile, being cast out or orphaned, fear of loss of control, the trickster, the storm, madness, fear of initiation, the dragon, the underworld of transformation, fear of power, the tyrant, the shadow, the forbidden knowledge. You see, these metaphors aren't just metaphors, they're psychic templates. Your fear plugs into one or more of these ancient patterns, whether you want to or not. A concrete example might be, let's say someone has an intense fear around speaking up. On a personal level, one might say, "I was shamed when I spoke up as a kid." And on an archetypal level, this fear taps into the exile, the scapegoat, the witch archetype, the one who speaks truth and gets cast out. The risk is one who stands out, they face social death. You have visibility, and that equals danger. The pattern shows up in myths, banished prophets, heretics, and witches in our history, in religious martyrs. Modern life, it can show up as cancel culture in the group dynamic. So fear isn't just theirs, they're carrying a collective human memory of what happens when someone breaks the group spell. When fear is understood as archetypal, it stops being a personal flaw, like something is wrong with me, and starts making sense as a shared human experience. It can be meaningful, more like an initiation than a malfunction, giving fear a purpose rather than treating it as a pathology. Archetypal fear often shows up right before growth, before initiation, like before speaking a truth or before a separation, before stepping into authority or before becoming more yourself. In Jungian terms, fear is often the threshold guardian, and archetypal fear is what we feel when our personal life brushes up against an ancient human pattern, when the psyche senses that something larger than comfort is at stake. So when people say archetypal fear, they don't mean mystical or fancy. They mean this fear didn't start with you. It's a very old human fear that keeps getting recycled like a return nobody asked for.